Hebron lies out among the cornfields just 2 miles from the Wisconsin border on Highway 47. It has about 150 more people than it did 40 years ago, but not much else has changed. The high school is still there, along with a championship trophy and the center circle from the old gym. The old gym is now a school cafeteria, but the baskets are still on the wall. The floor was only 72 feet long, 40 feet wide. They only played 6 home games here that year. The bigger schools wouldn't come here. So Coach Russ Ahern took his team to where the big schools were, including the Kankakee Christmas tournament.
The reason we went to Kankakee was because he said, if we ever should go to the state tournament, he says, you're going to have to stay in hotels, motels, and unfamiliar surroundings. He said, and we need to start getting used to it.
Teams like Kankakee had fancier uniforms and at least twice as many players as Hebron. The Hebron varsity opened the season with just 5 players and later added a 6th. People had to see it to believe it.
We come out there and you could just hear the murmur of the crowd. Well, by golly, it is true. And of course, we didn't come out right away because we were only having 6. We didn't need 20-minute warm-up.
Hebron upset 4th-ranked Danville to win the Kankakee Christmas tournament and earned the #1 ranking. The Green Giants won 15 straight before losing to Crystal Lake, and then never lost again.
People think this is kind of a Cinderella story, and I guess it is, but we were ranked pretty much #1 all through the season. But yet people wouldn't believe the fact that we were probably that good, and they didn't expect us to do what we did.
Hebron faced 2nd-ranked Quincy for the state title. It was the first tournament ever televised in Illinois. Jack Dries and Chick Hearn were the announcers.
It's Ken Spooner with the ball, passing over now to Paul Judson, #4. Big Bill Schultz under the bucket, takes the high pass, and it's in. Beautiful pass, Jack.
The game went to overtime. Then Don Wilbrandt set up Ken Schultz with an easy basket, and Hebron went on to win it, 64-59.
I don't really think, at least I didn't, realize that the game was over until about 8 seconds left when I think it was Paul Judson, yeah, Paul had a free throw, and he held his one finger in the air like we're #1. Then it kind of hit home.
There were over 5,000 people waiting for us in Hebron. The caravan stretched from Hebron past Woodstock.
In every town that we went through, people were lined up. It was kind of a real happening in those days.
It was really amazing. I talked to people who, not only remember all our names, they remember some of the games and the scores and some of the things that happened 40 years later. It's amazing.
It's the stuff legends are made of, and something that this town of 800 refuses to let die. From Hebron, Brad Palmer, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
40 years ago, the impossible dream came true on the basketball court for a small downstate high school. Channel 7's Brad Palmer takes a look back at Hebron High School's state championship and the players who brought home the trophy.
That about wraps things up for Hebron. Yes, sir. Paul Judson turns around at the free throw line and waves his hand at the rooting section. Hebron is the state champion of Illinois.
And today, Hebron's epitaph is proudly inscribed on the water tower overlooking the town's only 4-way stop. The tower was built 5 years ago, and that's the last time the 5 players all got together.
Boy, it was just terrific, and I think it's just the most beautiful thing there is. It's exciting for me to see it every time I go up that way.
Hebron only had 96 students. No school that small had ever won the state championship. And now with a 2-class system, none ever will again.
That's lost and it's gone. It's just not going to be there. You're not going to have the Cinderella, the small school versus the big one.
At the time, as you're going through it, did it seem as special as it does to people now?
No, it didn't.
Ken Spooner played guard for the Green Giants. Today, he sells suits at Carson's in the Radhurst Shopping Center. And while this may look staged, it wasn't. Just listen.
I didn't know you were on the Hebron team.
I played on the Hebron team.
Wasn't that 1952?
You played on the team.
I graduated high school and I'll always remember that.
Well,
you were a guard.
I played a guard, yeah.
Really?
See? Yeah, you remember. Yeah, it's amazing how many people remember that.
Big Bill Schultz hears the same things from the customers at his hardware store on Fullerton near Western Avenue in Chicago. But the tournament provided him and his teammates with more than memories.
I had very little intention of going on to college at the time. And in my case, with seeing what college was and seeing what college could do for you, that was one of the turning points in my life.
Schultz went on to play for Northwestern. The Judson twins, Paul and Phil, returned to Huff Gym to play for Harry Combs at Illinois.
Harry Combs recognized that we could play basketball They gave us a scholarship, and we went and we got an education, and then from that education, we acquired teaching and coaching jobs.
Brother Paul is the athletic director at Hampshire High School. Phil is the head of the driver education department at Zion Benton. Don Wilbrandt, the team captain, is in the construction business around Algonquin. The school still gets calls and visitors from miles around, people who just want to see the trophy and what's left of the old gym floor. They still play the game in Hebron, but not like they used to.
There are probably other things to do today, even in Hebron.
Players on today's Hebron team told me that a lot of their friends spend more time playing Nintendo, but they've all heard the story.
Source of pride, yeah. That's what I like about it, is we did something that other schools have not done.
Most people never heard of this town. The only thing they remember it by is the water tower, and they see it and know that we're state champions.
Life was a lot simpler back in 1952. Most people didn't have TV sets, but when Hebron went to the state tournament, a lot of people went out and bought them. It was really something special back then, and 40 years later, it still is. From Hebron, Brad Palmer, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.